So next class, characteristics of a DC generator. Okay, so we studied the constructional features of a DC generator, working principle of a DC generator, classifications of a DC generator, EMFifications of a DC generator, etc. Now we are going to concentrate on the characteristics of a DC generator. There are three most important characteristics of a DC generator. Open circuit characteristics, OCC. It is also known as magnetization characteristics, open circuit characteristics or magnetization characteristics. No load EMF E0 versus field current IF. No load EMF E0 versus field current IF. Second one is internal characteristics. Internal characteristics is the which shows the relation between EMF at loading condition E versus armature current IA. E versus armature current. EMF at loading condition E versus armature current IA. Third one, external characteristics, which shows the relation between terminal voltage V versus load current IL. Terminal voltage V versus load current IL. So these are the three important characteristics as far as a DC generator is concerned. Then open circuit characteristics, which is the curve plotted between no load EMF E0 and field current IL, I suffix F, field current IF, I suffix F. Internal characteristics, this characteristics is the curve plotted between generated EMF on loading condition E and the armature current IA, that is E versus IA. External characteristics is the curve plotted between terminal voltage V and the load current IL, I suffix L. These internal and external characteristics together called load characteristics. Thus there are three caras, OCC or magnetization cara, internal characteristics, external characteristics. These internal and external characteristics are collectively known as load characteristics. OCC is the curve between or which shows the relation between E0 versus IF, internal characteristics which shows the relation between E versus IA, external characteristics which shows the relation between terminal voltage versus load current V versus IL. Then OCC of a separately excited generator. So field winding is disconnected from the armature which is connected across an external DC source. To measure the field current, an ammeter is connected in series with it. To control that current, a rheostat is connected in series with it. Okay, to note the generated EMF under no load condition, a voltmeter is provided across the armature. So this voltmeter measures no load generated EMF E0 and this ammeter measures field current. This ammeter measures field current which can be varied by using the field rheostat. In the left hand side of this slide, a graph is shown. Field current is on x-axis, induced EMF E0 is on y-axis. Okay, so because this is a separately excited DC generator. The connection diagram to find the OCC of a separately excited DC generator is shown in the figure. The field winding of the DC generator is disconnected from the machine and is separately excited from an external DC source as shown in the figure. This I just explained. So first of all, run the generator at its normal speed. To run the generator, there should be a prime mover. In most cases, it may be a motor. So by using the prime mover, we have to start our generator. We have to start our generator at a rated speed or normal speed. After that, field current has to be increased from 0 value to its rated value in steps by using the rheostat. By varying the rheostat, we can vary the field. By using this rheostat, we can vary the field current from 0 to rated value. For each value of field current, we have to note the voltmeter reading E0. When field current is increasing, flux is increasing. This increased flux cuts the armature winding and induced EMF E0 is also increasing. So further adjust the rheostat. When we reduce the rheostat, field current increases. So at the instant of starting, the field rheostat should be at maximum position. After that, we have to reduce the field current step by step. When field current decreases gradually, field current increases gradually, flux increases gradually. This increased flux cuts the armature winding and induced EMF under no load condition is increased to rated voltage. Thus, we can understand the relation between field current and induced EMF. It is nothing but the magnetization cara. Field current increases means flux increases. When flux increases, generated EMF also increases. Okay, to vary the field current, we have to vary the rheostat. At the instant of starting, this field rheostat should be provided at a maximum position. Then gradually we have to decrease this rheostat. Then gradually the field current increases. Gradually the generated EMF also increases. So this explanation is given in this slide. The field current is increased from 0 in steps, which is measured in the ammeter of a field circuit, and the corresponding value of no load generated EMF V0 is noted on a voltmeter. I think it is clear. Voltmeter which is connected across the armature terminals. On plotting the curve between E0 and IF, we get the OCC of a DC generator as shown in the figure. So what are the points that we have to notice from this OCC of a DC generator? When the field current is 0, there is some generated EMF OA. This is called the residual magnetism. So what is meant by residual magnetism? The amount of magnetism retained in a material after the removal of magnetizing force. Look at the graph once again. So this is our OCC of a DC generator. Field current is on x-axis. Induced EMF is on y-axis. Even when the field current is 0, some EMF is there. That EMF is OA, which is plotted on y-axis. This OA is the EMF due to residual magnetism. What is meant by residual magnetism? Residual magnetism means it is the amount of magnetism EMF due. OA represents EMF due to residual magnetism. What is meant by residual magnetism? The amount of magnetism retained in a material after the removal of magnetizing force. The amount of magnetism retained in a material after the removal of magnetizing force. Magnetizing force, here the magnetizing force is current, that is field current. Even when the field current is 0, some flux is existing in the winding. That flux, some flux is developed by the field winding. That flux is residual flux or residual magnetism. Due to that residual flux or residual magnetism, an EMF is generated in the armature. That EMF is OA. So OA represents EMF due to residual magnetism. And saying the definition once again, residual magnetism, it is the amount of magnetism retained in a material after the removal of magnetizing force. After that, from point A onwards, there is a linear from point A to B, EMF is slowly increasing. After a certain point from B, the curve becomes linear. Up to B, the curve becomes almost linear. What is the reason for this linear curve up to B? The reason is, during this period the field current is very low. The field current is very low means flux is very low. So magnetization low. So reluctance of iron is negligibly small, which is almost equal to reluctance of air gap. Reluctance of air gap is constant. Reluctance of iron is negligibly small when this field current is very low, that is flux is very low or flux density is very low. Therefore, up to point B, the curve becomes linear. The reason for this linearity is reluctance of iron is negligibly small. Reluctance of air gap is almost constant. So no other factors comes under this situation. Therefore, field current increases, flux increases, voltage also increases. No other factors which influences the flux and voltage. No other factors which influences the flux. So the curve is going to be a linear one. Okay, I think it is clear. From A to B, the curve is almost linear because the reluctance of iron is negligibly small, reluctance of air gap is constant. So the only factor which influences the generated EMF V0 is field current. So field current is slowly increasing, flux is slowly increasing, voltage is slowly increasing, the curve becomes linear. After point B, this linearity is losing. After point B onwards, this linearity is just losing. Why? What's the reason why this linearity has gone? Because when field current is more, from point B onwards, field current is more, flux is more, so that means field current is increasing. So reluctance of iron comes into picture. So therefore, when this reluctance is, why this reluctance is more at a higher value of field current? When high value of field current, flux is more, flux density is more, permeability of iron is more. So permeability of iron decreases. Therefore, reluctance of iron increases. Therefore, from point B onwards, the linearity of the curve is losing. Okay, the linearity of curve is losing. The reason is, after point B, the flux is increasing, field current is increasing, flux is increasing. At a higher value of flux density, permeability is decreasing. Then reluctance is increasing. So reluctance of iron is coming into the picture. Therefore, linearity is losing. Up to point B, reluctance of iron is negligibly small. After point B, at higher flux densities, reluctance of iron is permeability of iron decreasing, reluctance is increasing. Therefore, linearity is losing. From point C onwards, the curve almost tends to maximum value because saturation of ion takes place. When field current increases, flux increases. After a certain value of field current, even if the field current is increasing, there is no increase in strength of magnetism. So saturation of ion takes place after point C. Saturation of ion takes place after point C. These are the points that we have to notice from this curve. Okay, OA represents EMF due to residual magnetism. Up to point B there is a linearity because the reason behind this linearity is reluctance of ion is negligibly small. From after B, at higher flux density, permeability of ion decreasing, reluctance of ion increasing, therefore linearity is losing. After point C, the curve becomes almost constant because saturation of ion takes place. So all these points that we have to understand from this OCC of a DC generator. So this explanation is given in this slide. The following points may be noted from the OCC of a DC generator. When the field current is 0, there is some generated EMF OA. This is due to residual magnetism in the poles. Over a fairly wide range of field current, that means up to point B, the curve is linear. I told you all these things. It is because in this range, reluctance of ion is negligible as compared with that of air gap. Because air gap reluctance is almost constant. So reluctance of ion is negligible comparing to this air gap reluctance up to point B. After point B on the curve, reluctance of ion comes in the picture. Because at high flux densities, because at a higher flux density means when field current is more, flux is more, at higher flux densities, relative permeability of ion decreases and hence reluctance of ion increases. Till point B, air gap reluctance is constant, reluctance of ion is negligible. After point B, at higher flux densities, relative permeability of ion is decreasing, reluctance is increasing, and therefore curve deviates from the linear relationship after the point B. After point C on the curve, the magnetic saturation of pole begins and E0 tends to be constant. All these things I explained. Then next, characteristics of a shunt generator. Till now we discussed the OCC of a DC generator, which is a separately excited one. Now the self-excited generators. In the category of self-excited generators, we are going to discuss the characteristics of a shunt generator. We are going to discuss the characteristics of a shunt generator. So shunt generator means armature winding and field winding are connected in parallel. Okay, to vary the field resistance, a rheostat is connected in series with the field. A load is connected across the armature. Internal OCC and external Cara is shown in figure 2. Are shown in figure 2. In figure 2, there are three curves or three characteristics. OCC, which is shown as dotted line, curve 1 internal Cara, curve 2 external Cara. Curve 1 internal Cara means it is E versus IA, curve 2 external Cara means V versus IL. The dotted curve means OCC, which shows the relation between generated EMF under no load condition E0 and field current IF. So we can explain all these things. Open circuit characteristics is the curve plotted between no load EMF E0 and the field current IF. Now we are discussing the characteristics of a DC shunt generator. Till now we discussed the characteristics of a separately excited generator. The field current IF is shown by dotted. The dotted curve shows the open circuit characteristics or magnetization Cara. The line OA represents the shunt field circuit resistance. The build-up voltage is given by the intersection of OCC and the field circuit resistance line is equal to OM. So please check the figure. The line OA represents the shunt field resistance. So dotted line is the OCC, which shows the relation between field current is on x-axis and induced EMF is on y-axis. Okay, OA represents shunt field circuit resistance. The line OA represents the shunt field circuit resistance. Okay, OA represents shunt field circuit resistance. So we have to draw the shunt field circuit resistance as OA. The intersection of OA and OCC takes place at point B. The intersection of OCC and shunt field circuit resistance line OA takes place at point B. Okay. So what is happening to this point B? The build-up voltage for this particular shunt field circuit resistance is given by OM. The build-up voltage is given by the intersection of OCC and the field circuit resistance line is equal to OM. Okay, at a particular point B, intersection of OCC and shunt field resistance circuit resistance line takes place. The voltage corresponding to this point B is OM. The build-up voltage for a particular shunt field circuit resistance is OM. Okay, how we will get this OM? So first of all, draw OCC, then draw the shunt field circuit resistance line. For drawing the resistance line, voltage and voltmeter reading and ammeter readings are necessary. Take the ammeter readings on x-axis, take the voltmeter readings on y-axis. Thus we can draw a shunt field circuit resistance line whose reading is necessary for drawing this shunt circuit resistance. When the intersection of OCC and this OA at B takes place, corresponding to this point B is OM, which is the voltage developed for a particular shunt field circuit resistance. I think it is clear. Okay, so draw OCC first, then draw the shunt field circuit resistance line. The intersection of OCC and this OA takes place at point at point B. Corresponding to this point B, the voltage buildup is OM. For finding the voltage buildup for a particular field resistance is given by OM. So all these things we can understand from these curves. At no load, terminal voltage of the generator will be constant. OM represents a horizontal dotted line MC. So this point that we have to understand. So first of all, draw OCC, IF on x-axis and induced EMF on y-axis. Then thus we are getting the OCC. Then draw the shunt circuit resistance line. The intersection of this OA and OCC takes place at point B. Corresponding to this point B, we will get the voltage build-up in the DC shunt generator, which is nothing but OM in this case. Okay, then what all are the other things that we are getting from these three caras of a DC shunt generator? So consider the next slide. Internal characteristics. That means curve number 1. Internal characteristics is the curve plotted between generated EMF on load condition E and the armature current IA is shown by the curve 1 in figure 2. That means internal characteristics is the curve between E versus IA. So please listen. Internal cara is the curve 1 in figure 2, which shows the relation between E versus IA. IA is on x-axis, E is on y-axis, and thus we are getting the internal cara like curve, which is nothing but curve number 1, which is nothing but curve number 1. So this internal cara is just below the OCC. Internal cara is just below. As a result, internal characteristics curve will lie below the OCC by an amount equal to the effects of armature reaction in the armature circuit. What is the meaning of this sentence? So look at the last sentence. As a result, internal characteristics E versus IA curve will below the OCC by an amount equal to the effect of armature reaction in the armature circuit. What does it mean? So OCC is the dotted curve. Curve 1 is the internal cara. OCC is the curve between, or OCC curve is the relation between E0 versus IF, and internal cara is the curve between E versus IA. So internal cara just below the OCC, because OCC means E0 versus field current. Internal cara means E versus armature current. So E is always less than E0, where E0 is the generated EMF under no load condition, E is the EMF under load condition. In the internal cara it is E versus IA. In the OCC it is E0 versus IF. E0 minus armature reaction effect is equal to E. Therefore, E is less than E0. Because of the armature reaction effect, EMF at loading condition is less than EMF under no load condition. Therefore, internal cara below the OCC. That is the meaning of that sentence. I think it is clear. So, the intersection of OCC and shunt field resistance line OA takes place at point B. The voltage corresponding to this point B is OM. And the second point is internal cara, which is nothing but curve number 1, which shows the relation between E versus IA, which lies below the OCC. The reason is OCC shows the relation between E0 versus IF. Internal cara shows the relation between E versus IA. So internal cara lies below OCC because E is less than E0 due to armature reaction effect. E0 minus armature reaction effect. E0 minus armature reaction effect. EMF due to armature reaction effect is equal to E. Therefore, internal cara below the OCC. What about external cara? External cara means in this figure 2, curve 2 represents the external cara, which shows the relation between terminal voltage V and load current IL. External cara shows the relation between terminal voltage V and load current IL. Terminal voltage V and load current IL. Terminal voltage V on y-axis, load current is IL is on x-axis, which lies below the internal cara. Internal cara lies below OCC. External cara lies below internal cara. Why? What's the reason? Internal cara shows the relation between E versus IA, where external cara is the relation between V versus IL. V is less than E. E is the generated EMF under load condition. E minus armature voltage drop is equal to V. V is less than E. E is less than E0. So therefore, internal cara lies below OCC and external cara lies below internal. I think it is clear. Internal cara shows the relation between E versus IA. External cara shows the relation between V versus IL. V is less than E. E means generated EMF under loading condition. Don't confuse. E is the EMF under loading condition. V is the voltage, which is the voltage across the load, which is nothing but terminal voltage. E minus IARA is equal to V. E minus IARA is equal to V. So external characteristics lies below the internal characteristic, because E minus armature drop IARA is equal to V. Internal cara lies below OCC because E0 minus EMF due to armature reaction is equal to E. Okay, I think it is clear. All these things are explained in the last slide. External characteristics is the curve plotted between terminal voltage V and load current IL is shown by the curve 2 in figure 2. Therefore, external characteristic curve lie below the internal characteristic curve by an amount equal to voltage drop IARA in the armature circuit. Voltage drop IARA in the armature circuit. I think this topic is clear. Yes, there are three caras: OCC, open circuit cara or magnetization cara, which shows the relation between E0 versus IF, and second one internal cara, which shows the relation between armature E versus IA, generated EMF under loading condition E versus armature current IA. External curve shows the relation between terminal voltage versus load current IL. Terminal voltage V versus load current IL. I think this topic is clear. So we discussed the characteristics of separately excited generator and shunt generator in this class.